All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Game Master Tips. I am Andrew, Game Master and Dungeon Master of Bastions and Boats, the live streaming D&D campaign. Uh, Today, I'm going to talk to you about your party and you. Uh, so, any RPG revolves around everyone at the table having fun. That usually comes down to loving the game that you're all playing and enjoying the company of the people at the table. So the first step in that is to figure out who you want at your gaming table. Finding a group is all about communication. If they are your friends, that makes it much easier. But if they are strangers or acquaintances, it can be a little bit more awkward. Now, asking people to join a game is as easy as making a Facebook post or leaving a sign or poster in your local game store with the owner's permission, of course. In this stage of communication is important. Letting them know what kind of game you want to run is required. The last thing you want is for a group to show up and realize they don't want to play a slight mystery and less actiony game that you planned on running, but in reality wanted something way more rough and tough, like a classic game of D&D, going into a dungeon and going to fight a dragon versus trying to sleuth around the city and find the stolen bag of magical items, which unfortunately could leave all the work you did worthless. Now, a way I have found to help is to offer a one shot of the game you want to play to your group or local store. Let people try it and see your style before jumping in and finding out they don't want to play more than one session. I've had many games personally fizzle out due to my ideas and stories not being what the players wanted. But I had a few games that spawned from a one shot that everyone loved and wanted to play more of. To be honest, I will have a video about finding the right game in another video, but it is something that is important to find. So now that you have a game going, what's next? Finding out what they enjoy and have fun with is what's next. And finding that out is way easier than you think. Asking questions is great, but just watching how they are responding to your storytelling, the encounter and your encounters will tell you so much more than they're willing to. Your players don't want to hurt your feelings, so when you ask them if they're enjoying the game or enjoyed last session, they're not going to try to be mean and hurt your feelings by telling you, oh, it was bad, I didn't have any fun. They're going to be like, yeah, it was fine. And that doesn't help you get them even more excited for the next session. So, and all, it will be up to you to pay attention. If they love that last combat encounter with the Lich and finding out his phylactery just happened to be the little goblin named Gerald at the front of the dungeon, and forcing them to decide between killing him or having to be ever vigilant over the Lich coming back, then you found out what they like, which is making those tough decisions and emotional stakes. Stuff like that is what you're looking for. Whether it's what I said just a second ago, or just a simple NPC at a tavern that they've just fallen in love with and want to constantly go back to and slowly turn that tavern into their main hub for their entire adventure. I have, and to be honest, I have learned when the party is going back and forth and deliberating is what can really show how invested they are, which will be a huge sign they love what you're doing. Because when they are invested, you have made the game fun for them. But some players are more interested in the puzzles or the glory of becoming a legendary hero or villain than just sitting around deliberating with one another. And that's fine. Everyone has a different idea of what is fun in a TTRPG, and it is your job to figure that out. Watching what makes them laugh, get serious, and in the bigger picture, what makes them come back excited for the next session. It might sound a bit daunting to find these signs, but I promise you, it is much easier than you think because it'll be so obvious when they're into it. The harder part is making sure that you are also enjoying yourself. If you aren't having fun, then it will reflect on the party and the game. Finding ways to add in your ideas and stories to the game they're having fun in sounds easy, but it isn't. Maybe you wanted the party to fall in love with an NPC, but instead they told them to shove it, and now all that work and story feels worthless and useless. Instead of losing that drive, you can relocate that NPC's information and story between other things, like a book that they found in a secret laboratory, maybe a scroll or small letter on a man's dead body or deathbed that just, well, lets them read about it themselves and get a bit more like, ooh, what's that? Adding things they missed or ignored is super easy. The hardest part is making sure it wasn't ignored because the party wasn't interested in it at all. Since the game always comes back to your party, you need to use what you learned from earlier in the video to make decisions like these. Did they not understand the quest the young boy asked them about? Or were they not interested in a quest like that at all? That is the big question, and the answer won't be handed to you. A way to find out is to bring it back to them in another way, like I said earlier. Maybe that young boy has now died since they ignored him, and now his father beseeches all adventurers in the town to help him find out what happened to his son. And if they finally latch onto it there and actually seem excited, then you've done it right. But bring the party back into a game after forcing them into a situation like that is much harder to do. Because if you hear them let out a sigh or someone saying, I guess we have to do this quest, after you've brought it up a second time, should tell you they just weren't interested. I know it can hurt to hear that they don't like a quest you made, but that's okay. You can learn from that and make quests you and your players will enjoy because of it. In the end of it all, what matters most is the enjoyment of the game. If you have a story in mind and a party that wants to play, then the fun will come. Now, go out there and make some great memories and stories with your friends. But always keep your eyes and ears open to their criticisms, their enjoyment, and what they seem to be interested in or not interested in at all. But don't think for a second that it's completely on you. You're just the storyteller and the one creating snippets for them to jump into and get into. And sometimes you just don't have the right party. But until next time, this is Bastions and Boats signing off. Now, please watch our other videos and tune into the live stream every other Monday. Next session is this upcoming Monday, December 8th. Wow. Well, January 8th. December went fast. All right. Have a good night.